Thank you, Mark. Wendy's speech this morning is titled Narnia Book Club. It will be her last speech for her Title V pathway for leading in a volunteer organization. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, John, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest. We will talk with you in a moment. Last September, I gave a speech presenting my project for the Level 5 in the Leadership Development Pathway, leading in your volunteer organization. And this group decided that my project would probably qualify for that level, for finishing the Leadership Development Pathway. Now the project is finished, and I'd like to tell you about how it went over the last 9 months or so. I first read C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia as an adult when I was in my 20s, and I've been enamored with them ever since. C.S. Lewis once said, and wrote in fact, "Any children's book worth reading as a child is worth rereading as an adult." And further, he said, "When I was 10, I read fairy stories in secret and would have been ashamed if I had been found doing so. Now that I'm 50, I read them openly. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up." And someone else also said, "Once you've been to Narnia, all woods become enchanted." Narnia is an enchanted world, and in fact, I proved that true when I visited woods in Massachusetts. And I even found a castle with kings and queens on the doors of the restrooms. So Narnia does enchant you once you have read it. I became friends years ago with Paul Ford, and I helped him with the first draft of his book, Companion to Narnia, an index of characters, place names, literary, biblical, and mythological allusions in the series, all 7 of the Chronicles. In case you're not familiar with them, the first Chronicle of Narnia is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And the others are Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, The Horse and His Boy, The Magician's Nephew, and The Last Battle. Some people think that The Magician's Nephew should be the first one. I go with C.S. Lewis, who wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first. And for once, Hollywood got it right. When they made the movies, they made The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first. At one time, some years ago, I was invited to lead a week-long summer camp for 8 to 10-year-olds on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And much later, I led a weekend retreat for high school students on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and we used the movies at those times to introduce our discussion topics. When I returned to Elko in retirement, I taught a continuing ed class at Great Basin College on the Chronicles of Narnia, and we had a half a dozen or so loyal students who finished the whole series. At the beginning of 2023, I suggested to Serenity Orr at Ruby Mountain Bible Church that I would be interested in leading an adult book club, especially for women, on the Chronicles of Narnia. The project was approved by the leaders of the church, and at some point I had the idea of using this as a leadership project, which had to be at least 6 months long, and with the meetings in the series, that would be 6 months. I gave my speech at Toastmasters. We secured a Sunday school room at the church and agreed to meet on the 3rd Monday of each month, September through May, doing a book each month. To prepare for the studies, I reorganized my notes from previous excursions into Narnia, and I added insights gleaned from podcasts made at the Wade Center at Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois. This is a center devoted to promoting the works of several British authors, including C.S. Lewis, and J.R.R. Tolkien. So our book club study began in September with great enthusiasm, and 10 to 12 women were attending the sessions. We ate Turkish delight, a gooey confection that figures as a temptation in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We sang sea shanties with The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. By the way, Turkish delight can be purchased here in Elko at O'Day's Mediterranean restaurant. It's yummy, but it's messy. I handed out questionnaires on each book designed to be discussion starters. That may have been my first mistake. Some of the ladies became discouraged, thinking that they had to write out answers to all of the questions and they would be asked at the meetings. Even though I kept stressing that the main objective of the study was to enjoy the stories as stories. Then life got in the way for several members. One lady had knee surgery which knocked her out for several months, and then she felt she was behind, she didn't come back. Another lady was hospitalized for over a month at the beginning of the year. 2 high school girls got bogged down in their studies and school activities. A young mother decided it wasn't a good idea to bring her 2 toddlers with her to the meetings, and most of us agreed with that. Some just didn't have time to read the books. The November session was canceled because of Thanksgiving week, and we had to cancel our session in April because of a conflict with the church calendar. We ended up having 7 sessions, which still met the requirements for the Toastmasters project. 3 people persevered through February and March, and there were only 2 plus me who showed up for the final session in May. Those 2 were very interested in going deeper into the books for theological insights that could be carried over into real-life applications. Serenity Orr completed the 360 evaluation, which was a part of the requirements for the Toastmasters project. Overall, I enjoyed the experience, and if I had it to do over, I would eliminate or modify the questionnaires that I made out. I tried not to be pedantic, but maybe I was at some point. I would say that the Chronicles of Narnia are definitely worth reading at any age group, and I'd be happy to work with anyone who would like to go further up and further in, as they say in the last book, The Last Battle. Thank you.